Welcome back to part 2. I'm here with Moses. We're listening to his track Burnt. And let's start off by hopping into the stem file and listen to the drums and the bass. We'll start off bringing in the drums.
Yeah, word. So this is part of the pre-drop. And so here I just felt like this gave it a good sway. I sidechained everything to the kick here. And it just bumps. Like, you just gets your head knocking. So I thought it was cool.
Yeah, definitely. The other part that I want to bring in is we got this bass line coming up here. Let's take a listen to that.
Word. So I use this as like a kick fattener, and like I did like the low end and how it just gave some warmth and like a nice, bottom ground for the song. So I thought
Yeah,
cool to throw that one in there.
Yeah. Let's listen to that and the drums. Cool, man. So why don't we hop over to Ableton and dig a little deeper?
Let's do it. I'll start at the pre-drop here. I do layer my kicks and bass together,
okay.
But here, for the sake of hearing everything, this is all of it laid together. Let's start with looking at the claps and the snares. Where do I put these guys? Okay, so these bad boys, they alternate as I go, and usually what I try my best with percussions is to make sure they come in as clean as possible. Like sometimes you'll have problem frequencies, like here in the snare. I kind of just like took out a little bit of the highs that clashed with other aspects of the sound.
Right.
And I also threw in that normal auto panning and the utility here as well.
Yeah.
The snare compressor is actually something really cool. Ableton, I love. Essentially what they do, they have these presets that you can use on, say for example, percussion. Say, I'm not the best at compression, and I started to actually look into the presets that they have for these compressors, and if you go over here on audio effects, there's loads of it, so I thought this was cool.
So you found that snare compressor as a preset and you chucked it on the snares?
Chucked it on. I don't think I did any adjustment on this at all, but I thought it sounded cool. Like, I thought it hit too hard, like it kind of hurt my ear when I first heard it, and compressed, it kind of is more delicate. Oh, wait. There, like, it pops.
Okay.
And with the claps, same thing. Claps weren't really problematic, and then I slapped the limiter just so they don't peak. Nothing is like too crazy.
Let me ask you a question real quick, because this is something I've been thinking about a lot. When do you decide between using a compressor or a limiter?
Okay, compressors when I want to kind of squash the dynamic range of the sound. So say like, especially maybe in vocals, say you're singing in front of a mic, and sometimes you maybe bob your head back and forth or like adjust the distance, and like some words don't come through. Then I would use, for example, a compressor to kind of bring all the sound into like one area. And
right,
you
keep it consistent.
Exactly, and then with that you'd be able to hear like the enunciations of words and stuff like that. And then with limiters, I usually slap limiters on when I don't want things to get too loud, when I just want to like control the sound and make sure it does not go above a certain like threshold that I set. So like what the compressor will do, it'll squash the dynamic range. The limiter just doesn't allow me to exceed. So,
yeah, I dig it, man. That's a very like visual, easy way of putting it. I think next, let's hear the drums and the bass together, and then we'll transition just hearing the bass.
Of course. Here we go. Wait, let me just solo these together. So it gives a sway, and one thing I love using is toms. Like, you'll eventually hear them. They kind of just go, I don't know, here, like that.
Yeah.
So
like
when I think exactly, and usually I listen to a lot of music while walking, so if I can walk to this and like my steps will like sync up with like toms, it sounds like dope. So like, see, it just I don't know, I thought it was cool.
And so with those toms, why don't we just take a look at those real quick?
Yeah, of course. Here I do have a lot of stuff. These are the shakers. Here's some toms that I have. Nothing really done much on them. Like sometimes you don't need to EQ everything. Yeah. Sometimes the sound just like it's perfect on its own.
Is there even reverb?
Nothing. Oh, wow. I think the sample itself had slight reverb, but I gauged up the natural like Ableton in out channel,
Right.
and then so I added some reverb and delay on it, but nothing of like the Ableton plugin reverb. I just used
Dope.
whatever was there.
Dope.
And there's other toms too and stuff like that. But.
Okay, so cool. And you just decided like leave those alone. You didn't want to put any crazy effects on.
because like I feel like a lot of people do sometimes they kind of over process stuff to the point where you just like suck the soul out of the original sound, and like I realize especially with making this track, like sometimes less is better.
Less is more.
Yeah, less is more.
Dope, man. Let's hop to the bass, like we said, and I want to know, especially because your bass comes in really fat.
Yeah.
Is there some hidden secret you want to tell us about?
Ooh, so this bass, how it came about was me and my friend Jason, we started a collab track, and he made this patch. I made the drop, and he was like, yo, I can make this kick fat.
Mm-hmm.
So he makes this sub patch, which I eventually took and started using it as well.
Mm.
So it's like, he made it originally on Contact.
Yeah.
And then I just started incorporating it. So all I have really on the bass is an EQ. I might play around with this EQ more, maybe just like raise the 1K area more, just because I feel like sometimes if you raise high ends on like a bass, it gives like maybe the rumble, I don't know, it gives like a more fuller feel to the song. So I might go back and do that. And then I usually I would put my basses at 0% width or like 25% width.
Mm-hmm.
I felt at 100 for some reason. It just makes everything full. It acts like its own synth sort of.
Yeah.
Even though it was an intention. The original intention was for like a kick fattener.
Yeah. I think lesson is like a lot of times musicians will forget to trust their ears.
Yeah, exactly.
And will trust like something
the
they learned.
formulaic. Yeah, exactly.
You know
the
what your teacher said.
Of course.
But your ears do know better than like the formula.
Definitely.
Especially for things like this.
Yeah, so I just played off instinct, and then just to cap that off, I threw a limiter on there. Just again, I feel like using a limiter is a very safe way to kind of like lock your stems up. Like, you know, it's done. You know, don't touch it after that. Yeah, so that's about it for the bass. Nothing much. It's just I might you know mess around with placement, maybe you know see what I can do to I guess spice it up even more. But that's about the gist of it.
Cool, man. This is Moses. We've been listening to this track called Burnt. Thanks for joining us, man.
Thanks for having me. It was great. It was great.
We'll see you next week on Beatroots.
Peace.
Peace.